I can never relate. You never win if you doing this. It's all a game until you get played. You speak so loud, nothing to say. Hey, I'm better than doubt on me. And they said they ride for me. And they talk so bad to me. I know there's no friends in this business. That's why I keep my family close. We working to put it back and then take it back to my fold.
It's been a cold, cold summer. Things, but you know I'm about to warm up. Yeah, it's been a cold, cold summer. But you know I'm about to warm up.
Time will only tell. You can try me. Life can get real crazy. You can try me. We gon' find out soon. 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 We gon' find out soon.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A in LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, bam! I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. Yo, fam, so check it. Do me a favor. Down below, you will see the link to the 2A in LA official merchandise website. If you want some 2A in LA gear, that is the place to go. And also, fam, if you look down below as well, hit that join button for a minor fee, fam. You get access to all things 2A in LA. Pre-release video, you get access to all of the major giveaways that we do every year. Fam, don't miss out. All right, back to the video. All right, fam, let's get this episode rolling. So look, this is a revisit to the revisit, right? Some time ago, I did a review on the Jacob Grey NOX 9, and the gun that I think I was the first person on YouTube to ever do a review on the NOX 9, and that gun hit Grail gun status. I want to say it scored a 91 out of a possible 100, and I said at that time, look, there were some reliability issues. I was having some issues cycling. That is not uncommon on a prototype gun. Usually with prototypes, you can go one of either way. Either that prototype has been given so much time, care, and attention that it's difficult for them to maintain that level of QC once they start rolling units off the production line, or because it's a prototype, it hasn't been given, all the bugs haven't been worked out, and you have issues. And I think this was a case of the latter. I said then that, you know, I had my own personal NOX 9 coming, and once it arrived, I would do a re-review of it and up or down and see where it went. And certainly that's what I did. We did that once I got my own NOX 9 in hand, put like 1,000 rounds through that, and all things remained equal except the reliability did improve, and I think the gun went up a couple of points and was at like a 93 out of a possible 100 on the re-review. Well, sometimes you have to go back, right? Sometimes the first 1,000 rounds aren't enough. You got to get more rounds through it, and when you start getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 rounds through the gun, sometimes more things are revealed or could be more of the same. So let's talk about your boy's Jacob Grey NOX 9. Let's get a closer look at it at the Tactical Formulary Work Desk. Here we are at the Tactical Formulary work desk. Look, fam, we've already done a review on the NOX 9, so I'm not going to go into great length on the specs of the gun, but I did want to give you an opportunity to get a closer look at it. Look, fam, I said this at the time the prototype dropped. I echoed it when my own personal NOX 9 came in. The Jacob Grey NOX 9 is aesthetically beautiful. They knocked it out of the park. I can't think of more than one or two guns, if any, that I think have a better aesthetic look out of the box than the Jacob Grey NOX 9. I think there is a uniqueness to the aesthetic, the grip module, the way it's blended. I think the coatings, DLC and PVD, I think the coatings are done excellently. I mean, I think they knocked it out of the park relative to the aesthetics of the gun. Now, you're seeing this gun after several thousands of rounds through it, and the coating has held up really well. You can see that there. Usually, if there's going to be some issues, it would show up first probably in that porting area. That still looks phenomenal, and all of the PVD and the DVD looks excellent. Like I said, several thousands of rounds through the guns at this point in time. So look, fam, again, I think the aesthetics of the NOX 9 are beautiful. Of course, it's got the inline ports and the comp. Now, I mentioned this in the review. I thought that the ports, given the size of the cut, is very minimal, as you can see there. I also think the comp, given the size of the sight block itself, is very minimal. Could they have made this gun even softer? Sure. But it's not just about the size of the ports and the comp. It's about the overall engineering of the gun and how it all works together. And in my opinion, it's a very enjoyable gun to shoot. But that's it for the Tactical Formulary work desk. Let's get back into our discussion. All right, fam. So look, we're back. I have several thousand rounds through this gun. It's ran flawlessly. I've had zero issues with my personal NOX 9 since I've had it. The gun has worn in beautifully, as you saw from the desktop review. So I think that is great. There have been now an opportunity for a lot of people to do reviews on the NOX 9. I've done 2 now. This will be 3, right? My main man Jeff from the Weapon Collective has done a review. My guy Major Havoc has done a review. Other YouTubers have done reviews. Most recently, I think my man AJ from Let It Out did a review. I think all reviews, with the exception of, say, AJ's, were very positive about the gun. And even AJ's criticism, and I'm kind of going off of memory here, but I think his primary criticisms of the gun were that it had kind of minimalist ports and comp. I would agree with AJ on that. I don't think, as I mentioned in detail when I did my original one, it has a very large kind of sight block / comp on it with a relatively modest comp there, or port there. I thought I would have anticipated the comp to be much bigger. Same thing for kind of the inline ports there. That said, though, in and of itself, I don't think that matters a whole lot, because the size of the ports, the size of the comp don't tell the whole story, right? It's about how the comp, how the ports all work together with the overall gun length, the weight of the gun, the ergonomics of the gun. Do the ports and the comp do what they need to do relative to the rest of the setup to give you a very pleasant shooting experience. I think it does that. And I think that was AJ's takeaway too, if I remember correctly, that he thought, it was a pleasurable gun to shoot. That's how I feel. I think his other criticism was that it had a very short stroke, and potentially that could impact not so much the shooting experience, but shooting performance. That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. That gets down to use case though. What are you using this gun for? Is this a range plinker? Is it a range toy? Did you get it because the aesthetics are stunning? What was your reason for buying it? If this gun is going to land you in open, if you're shooting it in competition, this would not be my selection for an open gun. And so I'm not looking at it under that guise. And so that part, the shorter stroke and it affecting potentially overall performance, was not a big deal for me, because you can still get super fast splits with this gun. You can still run the hell out of it. It is a shooter without a doubt. I think AJ's last complaint was the thumb safeties. One, he thought that the thumb safeties had a lot of play. Not in mine. Not in mine. Maybe just a hair, but not really. The other complaint was he said that the thumb safety went up when the hammer was up. Mine does not do that. And so maybe that speaks to quality control at Jacob Grey. That gun could have just slipped through the cracks, or maybe it's part of an overall trend. But again, AJ's the only one that I heard with that particular criticism of the gun. And the other thing he said, the thumb he was getting pinched on his strong side hand with the thumb safety. I also have not had that experience. And sometimes, fam, look, some of these, it's very unique to the individual that is shooting. AJ's grip differs from my grip, differs from Major Havoc's grip, differs from Jeff from the Weapons Collective grip. Size of hands change, finger size change. All of these things come into play. And so, yeah, I haven't had that experience. It's been very comfortable shooting for me. All right, fam. So after 7,000 rounds shooting the prototype gun and shooting this gun, yeah, I'm still enamored with the gun. I think it's very, very well done. AJ said one other thing that hit me. I think he said that this gun, from a performance perspective, doesn't stack up to guns like that other hybrid pistols, like the Hades or like McLaren. I think that that's a fair assessment. I would just say that this gun is sub 6K and the Hades over 10K, and I think McLarens are significantly more expensive. So I would say at this price point, I think it hangs and or is better than a lot of the hybrid pistols. I did a comparison between this and the Dark Forge Reaper as an example, and I thought the Reaper was a slightly better performer, but I also felt like the Reaper's like $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 more expensive. And so, yeah, if Jacob Grey put another $1,000 into it, they could probably match that performance. If they put another $4,000 or $5,000 into it, they could probably match the performance of the Hades. But I think at the price point, it's very, very, very competitive. And I think from an aesthetic perspective, I think it's killing almost anything else in the price range, including the Hades and other guns that are far more expensive. So look, fam, I'm just all that to say, zero buyer's remorse for me personally. I love that I added it to my collection. I like the direction that Jacob Grey is going in terms of their build quality and their offering. So kudos to them. I'm loving the NOX 9 even after a lot of rounds through it. All right. That's it for this episode, fam. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.